This is the After Party, live with Kim McAllister. Pick a couch, grab a drink, and settle into the conversation.
It is the After Party live on a Travel Tuesday. Thank you for your patience and for being here. We had a guest not show up today on the Mark Thompson show, so we're talking about how to reschedule that person and everything else on the post-show meeting. So thank you for your patience. Thank you for being here. Please click subscribe and please click like if you haven't done it yet. Get it out of the way so you don't have to think about it again. We did hit a new number. It's always exciting when you hit a new number here on the After Party Live, and I think we're now at 2,440. 2440, right? I think that's what we are. So that's pretty cool. Oh no, 2441. See? Well on our way to 2,500. That's the next milestone, which feels kind of silly when you talk about Mark Thompson now having 111,000 subscribers. But you know what? Every subscriber counts, and we just work our way up. So there you go, 2,441 and on the way. And thank you to everyone who's taken the time to subscribe. Wes, out of the box with a $5 contribution to the After Party Live. He did it via PayPal. You can find the PayPal information in the show description every day and also in the About tab here on YouTube. And huge thank you to Wes for the continued contributions to the show and everyone who contributes monthly to PayPal for keeping this thing alive. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Party time. It is party time, Rev P. Yep, no more political talk. As a matter of fact, we're doing one of my fantasies today, and that is Travel Tuesday to Bora Bora. Yeah, we're gonna go. But we went to Canada last week. It was a little chilly. We're beaching it this time. It's gonna be a good one. Yeah, Donald, we are on the way to 2,500. It'll be really good. So I'm excited. YouTube plaque, here we come. I'm not holding my breath on that one, but you know what? That's okay. It'll be a while until we get the plaque over here. Yeah, maybe later in the century we'll catch up. Not likely, but the possibility exists. Yeah. Sandy says it's great that you have so many subscribers. Hopefully more people discover the After Party Live. Yeah, I hope you're right. But if not, I am delighted with our group. I think you guys are awesome. I have the best time with you every day. Your comments make me laugh. You're intelligent. Trivia is a joy with you. And so if this is our group forever, good. If we get 1 or 2 more subscribers a week, perfect. I'm happy with it. So thank you very much. It's almost Nullifidian says, like, there's too many people at the Mark Thompson show due to it being so hard to read all the comments. Yeah, you can see that, I'm supposed to be engaged in the conversation, but I'm also, one of my jobs is to put up interesting comments that come through. And most of the time I'm looking down because I'm reading them. They come by so fast. So yeah, it's true. Yeah, Bora Bora, that's where we're going today. That's awesome. Dreamers can dream. Got a little dream, sometimes you have to just check it out. Jennifer says, get a duplicate plaque as part of the Mark Thompson show crew. That's true. But then if I displayed it and then we were on this show, it would look like, I don't know, I was a hanger-on, a coattail rider, as they would say. Yeah. Well, if the Mark Thompson show gets banned, Tapple will grow very fast. I don't think so. I think people like the Mark Thompson show. First, just has the most fun, amazing personality, but also I think people want to talk politics. And the reason the show has grown so much is because it's been such a big political year. There's so much to discuss. People have concerns and they're looking for a place to let it out. And so this show not being political, I think that's a big difference, but I'm still committed to that because I wouldn't want to do 2 shows that were the same anyway, right? All right. Well, speaking of let's get it on, let's do it differently. How about let's do an Eagle update? Oh, look at those guys. 3 of them. 3 little Eagle siblings, and there they be. What's next for these Eaglets? Well, it's cold at the eagle nest. You see the nest in previous days and other pictures is surrounded by snow. It's really, really chilly up there. So, it's gonna be hard for them. All 3 eggs we know have hatched, and there you can see the eaglets there. So they still face some challenges, even though they all hatched this year. They don't have waterproof feathers. All the down layers that keep the warm air in and the cold air out are still yet to develop. The waterproof feathers, according to popular science, come in at about 6 weeks after they've hatched. And they still have snowstorms forecast for the big parents have to keep those eaglets nice and warm. The chicks are small. They can still fit under their parents, Jackie and Shadow, so the parents can keep them dry. There are winged predators in the area that are also a threat. So the parents have been observed vocalizing and chasing ravens away from the nest and from the eaglets. They have to be diligent. So there's the cold, there's the threat of predators. One thing they don't seem to have to worry about is food. It looks like they have food in abundance. They've got rainbow trout, bass, bluegill, sunfish, blue catfish, common carp. So the birds have a lot of fish to eat. There is some sibling rivalry among the birds for food, which is interesting because they have enough, so you wouldn't think that would be a big deal. But the dominant chicks tend to eat first. The smaller chicks have to wait around and then find creative ways to eat. So they sometimes, when the chicks are too full, they don't move around very much, and that gives the smaller ones a chance to come on in and eat. So they kind of smack into each other in a rush to get fed. Um, but yeah, so the food isn't an issue. It's the cold and the predators. The live cam is still active, and according to wildlife experts that are running the show, they say we can expect to be see more eating. Um, there's going to be a little bit more mess in the nest as these eaglets excrete more. Um, and they're going to winger size. That means they're going to flap their wings up and down as a way to prepare to take to the sky. So winger sizing is like exercising the wings, right? They should be ready to leave the nest in 10 to 12 weeks. And at that point, they grow really fast, about 3 inches up to 3 feet tall. So, um, and then as they grow, wildlife experts say that's when they start getting more curious about the world around them. And people watching have the ability to suggest names for these little eaglets. You can submit them through an online portal, and then a third grade class will be voting on all of your submissions for the official names of the eaglets. So, the cool thing about this is that people are getting the chance to learn about these creatures and they're entertained by them and they're curious about them. So, there you go. Any cool name submissions that you guys have? Larry, Curly, and Mo? I don't know. I'm thinking triplets, triplet names. So I don't know. I'll go to the chat and see what you guys think. Blue Spark says, my sister lives in Alaska. She's seen an eagle grab a fish and drown. I guess their talons lock into a fish and can't be released until they land. So if the fish is too big, yikes. That's sad. I mean, for the fish and the eagle, I guess. Can the chicks eat bugs? I think so, but they don't have to because a fish is abundant in this area. So you can see the remains of the fish spread around the nest. I don't think they need to do that. Yeah, salmon sashimi. That's what they've got. That's some nice looking salmon back there. I'm jealous. So yeah, they are cute, Susan. Look how adorable they are. Super cute. Huey, Dewey, and Louie, says Cameo. Nice. Yeah, thinking triplet names, right? Thank you, Yvonne, for stopping by and for all of your emails that you've sent about the eaglets through their hatching process. Yeah, they were shivering this morning in the snow. See, that's one of the issues is the cold and predators. So hopefully the parents can hunker down and keep them warm and get them through it. Manny, Mo, and Jack. All right, pretty good. Laryl, Daryl, and Daryl. I think that's perfect. That's my favorite so far, Ms. Organic. Larry, Daryl, and Daryl. Yes. That says it's a wonder the youngest chick is still alive. Lots of competition between the older chicks. Mm-hmm. There are like 3 different fish there on the menu. Yeah, there's a lot of competition, and we're seeing it in the nest with them bopping each other to get to the food first. But there's so much food that third eaglet is going to get enough to eat. So it's just a matter of whether the third eaglet can survive the cold and predators as well. Blinkin', winkin', and nod. Very cute. How what a magic moment, Nullifidian. Many years ago, Nullifidian writes, I was at Lake Pillsbury and an eagle flew right over me and just hovered there for a bit. Very cool. We had that experience when Julia was little with an owl. There's an owl that lives in a palm tree close to our house, or used to, and it was right at dusk, and it flew really low over the driveway as David and Julia had just gotten out of the car, and they looked up right as it flew over and screeched, and that was it. The owl became her favorite animal, so she just had an owl decorated room and everything. Tasty little nugget. Harry, Ron, and Hermione. Oh, nice. The Harry Potter way you've gone. Harry, Ron, and Hermione. All right. Well, that's the update on the eaglets. How about an octopus update? This octopus, and I didn't know this is a little insight into the sex lives of octopi. There's an article in Popular Science that fascinated me, and it says that this venomous blue-lined octopus is one of many species that engage in sexual cannibalism. The male octopus poisons its mate to avoid becoming a post-sex snack. Yikes. The research shows that it's just part of their everyday courtship. The neurotoxin that the male delivers to the female is a defense mechanism against the female, who will eat him after they do the deed. Scientists say sexual cannibalism is documented across a wide range of species. Lots of spiders do it, right? Um, Usually it involves the female eating the male to get vital nutrients to sustain themselves and their soon to be offspring. I mean, if you're going to sacrifice yourself, it's for a good reason. The cannibalism is not restricted, though, to insects and arachnids. It also occurs with some crustaceans, gastropods, and even octopuses. The female blue lined octopus is about double the size of the male. But after they mate, they get hunger pangs. And unlike some species males who willingly give it up and allow themselves to be eaten, the male blue lined octopus is not going to lay down and die. Oh no. According to recent evidence from researchers at Queensland Brain Institute, their toxic saliva is key to increasing their survival. They published a study March 10th in the journal Current Biology. And the team observing in the lab, found 3 male blue-lined octopuses will bite their chosen mate near her aorta at the beginning of courtship. Within minutes, the neurotoxin known as tetrodotoxin or tetrodotoxin, I can say that, floods the female's system and their breathing slows to a literal stop. And during that hour-long asphyxia-like state, her skin turns pale, her pupils constrict, and she becomes unresponsive to external stimuli. The male transfers his sperm packet into the female while she's out of it, but instead of slowed breathing for him, his respiration actually increases. Then the female octopus pushes away from her mate as the effects of the toxin subside, giving the male additional time to flee and get a safe distance away so he doesn't become dinner or snack. Both sexes of this blue-lined octopus produce this toxin for immobilizing prey and defending themselves. But the male blue-lined octopus's salivary glands are as much as 3 times heavier than the females, because killing the mother and their offspring defeats the whole purpose of reproduction. The researchers believe the female blue-lined octopuses have likely evolved a higher tolerance to the toxin, similar to their close relatives, the blue-ringed octopus. And there you have it. So, they don't all get eaten, and that's the way it is. We'll move to this story about what they're doing aboard Air India, and I can't quite figure out why, but they're having a problem with passengers flushing clothes down the plane toilet. Why you would do such a thing, I don't know. But Air India is now asking its travelers use lavatories, please, only for purposes they are meant for. This after a flight to Delhi returned to Chicago because 8 of its 12 toilets were all clogged up. The flight was 5 hours into its flight from Chicago to India last Wednesday when the decision was made to return to Chicago because 8 of the toilets were clogged. And once the plane landed, workers discovered it was caused by flushed items, including plastic bags, rags, and clothing items. The airline then issued their statement urging people to only use the lavatories for the purposes for which they're meant. But it's the latest in a series of incidents where the cans were clogged. The employees previously addressed toilet clogs by blankets, innerwear, diapers, among other waste. The passengers had to be provided hotel accommodations and alternative flight options after that flight turned around. Why would people? I mean, I get diapers, maybe you don't realize you're supposed to just throw them in the garbage, but why would you flush clothing, blankets, those things down into the lavatory? Why would you do that? This makes no sense to me. I don't understand. Maybe it's a cultural thing and I just don't get it. Here's something that makes me really sad. These beautiful tropical flowers, the heliconia, so pretty. Unfortunately, there are many of them at risk now of extinction. According to Smithsonian Magazine, nearly half of the colorful heliconia tropical plant species are threatened with extinction. Researchers use data from more than 10,000 herbarium specimens, and what they realized is there's a real need for conservation for this plant. The heliconia is critical to tropical ecosystems, but they're in trouble. There's a study published today in the journal Plants, People, Planet, published March 7th, rather. The research reveals nearly half of the 187 species of heliconia are now threatened with extinction, mostly because of habitat loss, climate change, and also poaching as well. So, and until now, little has been known about the populations of these plants in the wild. There were a few species that had been assessed for conservation. Only 21 ended up on the list for International Union for Conservation. They have a red list of threatened species, so 21 ended up on the red list. But scientists looked at data from nearly 10,000 herbarium specimens. Scientists at Smithsonian's National Museum of Natural History now bringing attention to the conservation status of these plants. Now they say 87 species, almost half of the genus, are classified with threatened extinction. Scientists say it's understood that when you're looking at any given plant group or region, you'd expect about 0.25%, maybe up to a third, that might be endangered. They have 50% of a genus as being threatened, and that is quite alarming. So you see these plants in gardens around the world. They're so beautiful, and they seem rather robust, thick, tough, I would say. But because they're so popular, it's led to overexploitation and increasing pressure of their native habitats and tropical rainforests. So here's some more pictures for you. And they're all so, so different and so beautiful. This is the one I see most often. Yeah. And then that last one, so beautiful. So hopefully we can keep our heliconia. I love them so much. Right up there with the hibiscus and the plumeria, the bird of paradise. What's a world without heliconia? I don't want to know. Here's a story for you. This one takes us to the Isle of Skye in Scotland. They've known about this 166 million year old fossil on the Isle of Skye for a long time. It was found 50 years ago. Finally, it's been identified as a dinosaur that lived 166 million years ago during the Jurassic period. It was the size of a pony. It was spotted at the base of a cliff on the Isle of Skye in Scotland in 1973, but it was at a really tricky location. And they left it there because it was too hard to get. Now, according to a paper published March 6th in the journal Earth and Environmental Science Transactions of the Royal Society of Edinburgh, this fossil, which includes the fragments of a spine, you can kind of see that there, ribs and hip bones, may be the remains of a dinosaur that lived during the Jurassic period, so many, many millions of years ago. They've nicknamed this fossil Elgal dinosaur after the village where it was found, or near where it was found. It's now considered the most complete dinosaur fossil ever discovered in Scotland, as well as being the earliest unearthed there as well. And they have it. They managed to get it out and bring it to the museum. So there it is. The area is located on the northwest coast of Scotland. The Isle of Skye, the location of several dinosaur fossils and footprints from the Middle Jurassic period. They say it's a wonderful addition to the rapidly growing set of Jurassic finds from the Isle of Skye, which are enabling us to learn more and more about the rich ecosystem of that time. Again, they think it was the size of a pony and that this dinosaur was probably around 8 years old when it died. The fossil first recorded by paleontologists during field trips between 1971 and 82, with a 1973 notebook entry mentioning bones of a dinosaur in a cliff with a small sketch. But they didn't realize the significance of the discovery because of its awkward location. It was really difficult to remove it from that cliff. But researchers rediscovered this fragmented fossil in 2015, and eventually it was excavated and transported from its cliff location in 2018. And now we get the paper on the study. And it was apparently a really challenging extraction. Previously, they felt it was too difficult to collect that fossil, but they did think it was really important to study it. But one of the research fellows was able to be persuasive enough for the team to give it a try. They are studying this fossil using a lot of different types of techniques. They say the shape and microstructure of the bones were found within this geological formation dating to the Middle Jurassic, indicating this fossil could be the remains of a sauropodon or an ornithopod dinosaur, a bird-hipped dinosaur. So there it is. Cool things going on the Isle of Skye. If it reminds you of Outlander, it should. Here's something we can all participate in. Yeah. You too can design a stuffy to go to space. They call it the Artemis mascot, the Artemis 2 mascot. The NASA seeking submissions for a new zero gravity indicator. What's a zero gravity indicator? It's a stuffy. The Artemis 2 astronauts will take it on their upcoming trip around the moon. They say you don't need an engineering degree to design this. Any level of education and enthusiasm will do. The zero gravity indicator took the form of a Snoopy plushie doll last time around. It was dressed in a little astronaut suit. There was another SpaceX crew mission in 2020. Theirs was a baby Yoda doll from The Mandalorian. So what do you think they should take up on the Artemis 2? NASA says, what better way to fly a mission around the moon than to invite the public inside NASA's Orion spacecraft and ask for help in designing our zero gravity indicator? It'll float alongside Victor Glover, Christina Koch, and Jeremy Hansen as they go around the far side of the moon and remind us all of you back on Earth. So they've got an official application portal. The winning zero gravity indicator has to meet certain requirements for inclusion aboard Artemis 2. It has to be small enough to fit inside a 6 square inch box. It can't weigh more than 0.75 pounds. Uh, Applicants, they say, don't need to calculate the exact dimensions and mass, but they do have to make sure that their little creature they've designed can fit within those parameters. So has to not be has to be flame resistant, temperature resistant. So faux fur, polyester fiber fill, materials like Kevlar, VDA film, and beta cloth. Sky's the limit for submissions, they say. So if you're interested, check it out. I know we have some seamstresses and sewers and crafty creative people on the party crew. Should we do Lotto of the Day before we go to Bora Bora? Let's do it. First, I'm going to the chat because I saw a couple contributions pop through. Susan Roberts with $10, just a little something, and a thanks for your fun show. Thank you for the little something, Susan Roberts. It's not little to me, and I really appreciate it very, very much. Beth Farmer slapping down a 20 says, greatest info on what's going on, sans politicals. Yes, that's the point. That's the goal. So Beth Farmer, I'm glad we're reaching for the goal and succeeding in your eyes. And thank you for the 20. Really appreciate you contributing to the After Party Live. Blue Spark throwing down a $5 super sticker. Thank you, Blue Spark. And I love the picture of the mountain in the background. Really, really nice. Speaking of pictures, Susan has a cute picture there too. Love it. Thank you, guys. Really, really, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, let's move to this story about the Lotto of the Day. And this one is all about prediction. This is from North Carolina. This man says his prediction to his son came true when he bought a scratch-off ticket, scritchy, scritchy, scratch, $100,000 prize. His name is Terry. He said he recently started to feel, somehow he got a feeling, that a major windfall was in his nature. He said, I told my son 2 weeks ago, I'm going to hit a big one, and soon. His prediction comes true when a 30 millionaire bucks scratch-off ticket he bought from Graham Grocery turned out to be a $100,000 winner. And he said, it was just my usual routine. I go by that same store every day. He said the millionaire bucks is his preferred ticket because it delivered him a nice early holiday gift last year when he won $2,000 on that ticket. He said his $100,000 winner will go toward paying bills and helping his family. So there you go. I do want to get to this. Let me do this one story before we move forward with our trip to Bora Bora. This is a story about flagstones. Before there was Stonehenge, there were flagstones. This is an artist rendering of it. It's this unusual stone circle they think predates Stonehenge. The stones were discovered when crews were trying to build a highway back in the 1980s. They say that there's a storied history here. It's in southwest England. The flagstones, they think, might be even older than Stonehenge because they used radiocarbon dating and human remains, red deer antlers, and charcoal found in the area, which is near Dorchester. And they think it puts the dating of the flagstone circle 300 years before Stonehenge. They've detailed the findings in a study March 6th in the journal Antiquity. They think that the flagstones may have served as a prototype for monuments that came after it. So the flagstones formed a 328-foot diameter circle, a circular ditch, they say, really, of intersecting pits. Archaeologists at this site found at least 4 burials in the enclosure pit, 3 children who had not been cremated, 1 adult who had been. The remains of the three other partially cremated adults were found elsewhere. Initially, they say the similarities to Stonehenge had archaeologists and historians wondering if flagstones were of a similar date. They say it's an unusual monument, a perfectly circular, ditched enclosure with burials and cremations associated with it. In some respects, archaeologists say it looks like monuments that come earlier, which they call causewayed enclosures. In others, it looks like things that came later that are called henges. But archaeologists say they don't know where it sat between these types of monuments. And the revised chronology places it at an earlier period than they had expected. So they worked with a team from the Netherlands, a team from England and the Netherlands and Switzerland, taking radiocarbon measurements and combining that data with archaeological finds in the area. They think the digging of the pits took place around 3650 BCE. The circular ditched enclosure was created about 3200 BCE, and the burials were placed within that circle immediately afterward. The burial of an adult male under a large sarsen stone at the very center of that enclosure happened about 1,000 years after its initial use. The chronology of the flagstones, write the archaeologists, is essential for understanding the changing sequence of ceremonial and funeral monuments in Britain. The sister monument to flagstones is Stonehenge, whose first phase is almost identical, but it dates to around 2900 BC. Could Stonehenge have been a copy of flagstones, or do the findings suggest the current dating of Stonehenge might need a revision? Interesting. They say that Flagstone also has a connection to other sites, like another henge in Wales, some locations in Ireland as well, and similar burial practices and artifacts have been uncovered in both places. So is it all interconnected? Were these communities across Britain and beyond? So many questions. Fascinating. All right. Oh, you know what? Let's go. Let's go to Bora Bora, shall we? Yeah, we shall. Let's do it. I have a website for you with lots of beautiful pictures. We're going to get to it right now. I got it. Wait, wait. No, I really got it. I really do. Hold on. I know. Sometimes we have to wait in the line, the virtual plane line before we get aboard. But we're going. Don't worry. Oh, and it's going to be worth every single moment. 15 amazing things to do in Bora Bora, brought to us by Sand in My Suitcase. First things first, how about we go snorkeling? I think so. Why not, right? Yeah. There are so many beautiful things to see in the waters surrounding Bora Bora. And so, why not stop by the overwater bungalows? We love it. There's also, you can drink in the views, all kinds of things. How about we go snorkel with sharks? It's the first thing on the list. If you don't know what to do in Bora Bora, one of the first things possible, here's the picture, is snorkeling with sharks. And before you say, not for me, these are little ones. They aren't dangerous to humans. Famous last words. She went snorkeling with sharks. They told her it wasn't dangerous to humans. Um, if you snorkel in water shallow enough to stand in, they say, you can go side by side with other snorkelers. They hang on this rope and they watch as a guide throw out chum, and the shiver of black-tipped reef sharks darting around, zoomed in to tear at the fish. It's a shiver of sharks. Yes. And here's what they look like. You want to go snorkeling with the sharks? I mean, you're up above. I don't know. Suddenly my resolve is maybe tested. They say the experience starts in a different snorkeling spot with the petting and the feeding of stingrays. Okay, we could do that. That sounds fun, right? Um, they say they asked the question at Sand in My Suitcase, should you snorkel with sharks in Bora Bora? It's a tough question, they say, because it was thrilling to enjoy this once in a lifetime experience. The problem, though, is that feeding sharks is a controversial practice called chumming, which may teach them to associate humans with food. The shark feeding experience in Bora Bora was different from scuba diving with sharks in the wild, where they just entered the world to observe it. They say if you're going to travel responsibly, that you should educate yourself on issues like this. And one way is to learn why sharks are an important part of the ecosystem, why we need to protect them. So while they had an amazing time doing it, they have possibly some ethical questions about whether or not it's something that should be done. This is not filled with ethical questions. Bicycling around Bora Bora. Why not? Look at that. That sounds like a fun day. Taking a bicycle adventure around Bora Bora. They say you can easily circumnavigate this island on two wheels, rent a bike. There's a paved coastal road around Bora Bora, 20 miles and flat the whole way. So you can pedal past quaint fishing villages, check out ancient Polynesian temples, soak in the stunning scenery at the lookout points along the roadway. Takes about 4 hours to do the whole ride. They have a cool place to stop for lunch and drinks after the ride called Bloody Marys. We'll get to it a little bit later. But that sounds pretty good. Here's where I'm going. I just want a good book and a good beach. This is all I need. This is called Matira Beach, and it's pretty nice. Look at that. Yeah, that's nice. Look at the color of that water. Is there a place to get a tropical drink nearby? I think so. The beach is called Exquisite. White sand, sparkling lagoon water, one of the best beaches in Bora Bora, perhaps even the best beach, and that's saying something. Matira Beach stretches for about a mile at the southernmost tip of the island. It is a public beach, so you can hang out on the shores, go for a swim. The water gentle, the sand entry is easy. There are some great coral sections where the fish like to hang out, so you can snorkel here as well. There are coconut palms that provide a little shade, and it's relaxing. There are also several affordable cafes and restaurants right along the waterfront, and they will happily take you in, sand and all, if you get a little hungry or thirsty in your time out on the beach. So that's pretty nice. I think I have one more picture to show you of this area. Look at that. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I think we're sold on that. Let's do it. We're going to Matira Beach in Bora Bora. And when we get a little bored of that, as if that would happen, how about we go for a Jeep tour around the island? Oh, yes, please. Let's see all there is to see. It's a guided tour. You got to do it, they say. You'll bounce around bumpy roads in a tough little Jeep on a trip around this volcanic island. They say on the way you get a crash course in all the fruit trees and the flowers of the island. If you've been to Hawaii, you might recognize some of them. The ancient Polynesians took canoe plants with them to Hawaii, where they now produce Hawaiian fruits like the breadfruit. You can also sample coconut and pomelo. During World War II, Bora Bora was an American military base, so your Jeep tour stops at the 20-foot cannons left behind after the war, which are said to be good photo ops. Here's the cannons left behind after the war. Lots of graffiti on those. Part of the history of the place, right? How about snorkeling in the lagoonarium? Yes, I'd rather snorkel here than snorkel with sharks. Look at that. Snorkeling in the lagoonarium. It's a not man-made part of Bora Bora's lagoon, where you can snorkel in safety under the supervision of guides. It's right near the St. Regis Bora Bora Resort. They say it's a family-owned attraction, and if you wanna see all manner of creatures, marine creatures in one place, you'll see turtles, stingrays, eagle rays, sharks, parrotfish. They bite, so stay away from those guys. Butterfly fish. My sister was bitten by a humu humu nukuapua'a. Butterfly fish, jackfish swimming around as you watch in awe. You might even see dolphins here as well. So that's pretty cool. Look at this guy, just hanging out on the dock. Love that picture. So great. Coming up in the show, we have some wildlife pictures that you're gonna absolutely love. Trying the local beer, apparently on the list in Bora Bora. Who knew? I'd go for the tropical drinks, but there's a local beer of the island. It's Hinano Lager. It's the local beer of Tahiti. It's been brewed since 1955. It's called Hinano Lager. It's named after a white flower indigenous to the South Pacific. It has a bitter, crisp taste. Some people love it, other people, not so much. It's maybe an acquired taste. It's less expensive than the imported beer that has heavy taxes there. The legal drinking age in French Polynesia is 21. I don't think that's a problem for us, right? If you're a hiker, you can hike up Mount Pahia. It looks like a pretty nice mountain to hike up if that's your jam. I'm more on the beach down below. It's called Mount Otamanu. It's one of the most striking Bora Bora attractions, but also Mount Pahia is pretty special as well. Traipsing up Mount Pahia is one of the most adventurous things you could do in Bora Bora because once you get to the top, the lagoon views are amazing. Not very many people do this, so you get to do it without a lot of crowds. The trail starts near the center of Vaitape and pretty easy to follow. They say don't be fooled by the mountain's relatively small size. At 21,159 feet, the hike up is still difficult and it's steep. You go through a thick jungle. There are 5 short, steep sections where fixed ropes are attached to help you as you climb up. And the hike back down is even more difficult. They say you might be scooching down on your rear end a lot. So it's a 6-hour round trip hike. There are guides that you can get to take you. This is a dream. Listen to this. Staying in an overwater bungalow. Look at that. Incredible. I might be the one, I don't know if you can see this with the picture. I might be the one trying for that uh that spot between the 2 palm trees. That's my hammock right there. I'm reading a book and having a cocktail out there. The ultimate Bora Bora experience includes staying in an overwater bungalow. Made of pandanus palms and other local wood, the bungalows have palapa roofs. They perch on stilts over the water, the crystal clear waters of the lagoon, right below your feet. They say a wonderful way to greet the day is to jump from the deck of your little overwater bungalow right into the water for a pre-breakfast swim. So incredible. Here's how it looks from above. Yes, please. Look at that. Wow. Pretty amazing. That would be amazing. I would hate to leave. There are Intercontinental Bora Bora and Thalassos Spa. They have their own private pools along with the you need a pool if you're right over the ocean, but you can swim in the pool or the ocean. You can take your pick. Here's that picture of one of the pools. I mean, this is rather ostentatious, really. I mean, look at that. Who needs the pool? But I guess if you were scared of sharks or whatever, you want a pool. Maybe the salt water bothers your skin. Um, there are also the Four Seasons Bora Bora, more rustic and intimate bungalow resorts as well. Here's a fun thing to do in Bora Bora. You can go take care of the sea turtles. What a fun day that would be. Get a hands-on experience with sea turtles at the Turtle Sanctuary. La Meridienne Bora Bora, they have the nonprofit Turtle Center project in partnership with Bora Bora's Environment Ministry. This is a spot where injured sea turtles are brought to the sanctuary. They are nursed back to health so that hopefully they can be released back into the sea. And They take volunteers, so you can go help care for the turtles, maybe clean the turtle's shell to prevent algae buildup. What a great way to give back. Look at that. Yeah, why not? Go help save a sea turtle. There are marine biologists there who take care of these animals. They teach you as you work, so you learn a lot, and then you could even swim with the turtles. So, I don't know. I mean, I don't want them to get too friendly with people, but yeah, there it is. You can swim with the turtles. That's a pretty cool thing to do in Bora Bora. You can also go on a thrilling helicopter ride. A lot of people say that's not for them, but after having worked aboard the KGO jetcopter, I'm okay with a helicopter, and I will tell you, it is the best way to see an area from up above and understand how it all connects. Really cool. You can shop for black pearls in Vaitape. So pretty. Look at those pearls. What a memento to bring home. Black pearls said to give visitors pearl fever as they hunt for them. They're cultivated by pearl farmers in the French Polynesia lagoons. The main town has many upscale stores where you can shop for these pearls. Some of the jewelry exquisite, the prices high, but it's possible to buy reasonably priced black pearls to take home as a memory of your Bora Bora trip. If you haven't ever done it, you can also learn to sup that stand-up paddle. Why not? Stand-up paddle with a stingray, right? Pretty cool. It's a they say if you're a newbie, you start by kneeling on the board, get the feel of balancing on it. Pretty soon you'll feel comfortable enough to stand up. The water is flat and calm much of the time in Bora Bora's lagoon, so it's an ideal place to learn to stand up paddle. And if you fall off, the water is warm and falling is part of the fun. You can look for fish and stingrays while you stand up paddle, get a little bit of a workout. You can also, and this I think for me destroys part of the calm, and I don't want to um, pollute this beautiful area. But one of the things on the list is a jet ski ride around Bora Bora, zipping around the island on a wave runner. It's a 2-hour jet ski adventure, and it's called one of the most thrilling things to do in Bora Bora. And lastly, and we talked about this a little bit earlier, how about having lunch at Bloody Mary's? Stick your feet in the sand, have a little lunch. It's built of bamboo with a sandy floor. The whole place looks like a tiki bar. It's wood tables, simple wooden stools, unpretentious, fun vibe, and it has fresh fish caught by local fishermen just hours earlier. So, another thing on the list is the petting of the stingrays. And there you go. Every afternoon, wild stingrays are fed at the beach at the Intercontinental Bora Bora Resort and Thalassos Spa. You just kneel in the water and the stingrays swim all around you. If you would like, you can take a piece of fish from the guide to feed to a stingray. Its mouth is underneath, so it kind of climbs up your arm to suck the fish out of your hand. You can pet the top of the stingrays, their skin's soft and slippery. And they're so used to being fed at this point that they're not dangerous, so long as you don't touch their stingers. Famous last words, right? So, there you go. That's what we're doing in Bora Bora. I think that's a fantastic vacation. I will absolutely go to Bora Bora with you. I feel like I just kind of went there. Yeah. Nullifidium says, I think Bloody Marys are my favorite mixed drink. Didn't Crocodile Dundee get killed by a stingray? That was Steve Irwin, actually, I think, who was pierced in the heart by a stingray. Freak accident, though, right? Yeah. Not Bora Boring and Bora Bora. Not at all. What book would I read? My book club is currently reading a book called Good Riddance, which I didn't love. But one book that I can recommend is called The Woman of Troublesome Creek. And that was a really good book. It's about the blue people in the Ozarks. So that was fascinating. I like that one a lot. I would read that. Or there's a new book, I don't know if it's new, it's called Honolulu. That might be a fun book to read on that vacation as well. Yeah. Incredible water and beaches, plus see-through coffee tables into the water. Absolutely. Viewfinder says, bit by something you can barely say, let alone spell, the name to the rescue medics. Yeah, well, I guess you need to have that handy. Mm. When you win the $1 billion lottery, says Jennifer L., can we do a meet and greet in Bora for your first 2,500 subscribers? 100% yes. Absolutely. I know who you all are. We're going together. Yeah, real blue people. Read the book. The woman, the book woman of Troublesome Creek is what it's called. Yeah. Beautiful. Well, thank you for going on that trip with me. I think I forgot to say that it is Travel Tuesday, but we figured it out. We know the drill. So thank you for spending that time on Travel Tuesday with me. And I now don't get to show you the wildlife pictures, but I'll show them to you tomorrow on Waterfall Wednesday. Tomorrow on the Mark Thompson Show, we have Anthony Davis coming through. We have John Rothman coming through, and we might be able to reschedule Branko Marcetic. So hopefully we'll get him on the show as well. It's going to be great, and it will be at 11 a.m. here on YouTube. So please join me over there. And then the after party live right after, immediately following. So thank you, Harry. I saw this come through. I wish I could send scratchers. I'll take the $5. Thank you. It's a sure thing. Is it better to be Stonehenged or Bora Bora'd? I'm going to say Bora Bora'd, Harry Magnan. Thank you. Thank you very much. Huge thank you to Susan, who came through with $10, Beth, who came through with $20, Blue Spark with $5, and Harry for a couple of fives, we'll call it 10. And Wes, I saw the $5 come through via PayPal as well. And thank you all for spending the time. Go out there, make it a great rest of your Tuesday, and I'll see you right back here on the YouTube tomorrow. Until then, make it a really good day. Bye, everybody. Bye.
The After Party Live would like to thank the following contributors and viewers like you.
Tiny bubbles in the wine makes me happy, makes me feel fun. Tiny bubbles makes me warm all over with a feeling that I'm gonna love you till the end of time. Oh, here's to the golden moon, and here's to the silver sea. But mostly here's a toast to you and me. Tiny bubbles in the wine makes me happy. Ooh, makes me feel fine. Tiny bubbles makes me warm all over with the feeling that I'm gonna love you till the end of time.
Doug, thank you for the $20 super sticker. Woohoo!